So just a quick note on Photoshop. When people go into Photoshop, they don't tend to set things up to make sure that it's optimized for their needs. They sort of just say, okay, Photoshop, you know best. And so what I want to make sure that we do is I want to go in and I want to go to our Photoshop preferences, and I'm going to go to general. Now you can comb through all of these preferences and sort of change things, but I just want to make sure that we go ahead and we set a few performance settings. I can go down here to this interface and you can see I can choose different colors. I can make Photoshop look like it's from 1998. I like this sort of medium to dark gray. I also want to make sure that I go down to performance, and this will allow me to allocate more or less RAM or memory. And then this will also let me know that I have a graphics processor that I can use for Photoshop rendering. Really importantly, I want to go down to the preferences in the cursors, and I want to make sure that I have a normal brush tip. I can sort of change my cursor from standard to precise, and then this will give me my brush or mask color preset. So I want to go ahead and I want to make sure I set those things. Again, I'm going to go to general. I'm going to do maybe check my performance, and then certainly I want to change my cursors. The other thing I want to do is I want to set my color space. And so what I want to do is I want to go to edit, and I want to go down to color settings, or Shift Command K. And by default, Photoshop is set up for the web-based color space sRGB. And certainly we're going to be using sRGB for web. But what I want to make sure I do is I want to switch this to Adobe RGB 1998, and so I want to save that for my printing. Now, some of you might be wanting to work in the Pro Photo RGB space. You can set that there, but if you aren't sure, go ahead and set it to Adobe RGB 1998. Now, under my color management policies, what I want to do is I do want to preserve the embedded profiles. I can turn that off, or I can convert it to the working RGB. I'm going to set this to preserve, but what I'm going to do, which might seem a little annoying at first because every time you open this and there's a profile mismatch, Photoshop is going to ask you what to do. And I like to turn this on, and I think it's really, really important to turn this on because it lets you know before you really start working on an image if it's in that Adobe RGB 1998 color space that you want to be working in, or if it's in something else, and then you can do or choose to do what you want with it at the very beginning. I'm also going to now save this as a preset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as Digital Lab Color 1998. So now I know that this is a preset, and if you look, I can save that, and I can sort of type anything here. I'm going to say, let's say Adobe 1998, and that'll give me some things. And then you can see on this drop down, I now have Digital Lab Color 1998. If I wanted to make a Pro Photo version of this, I could do that, and I could call this DL Pro Photo. And now I've got that Pro Photo. I will change that Pro Photo. I guess I'm spelling that like the light software. And then I'm also going to say preserve and ask. So I'm going to say OK to that. And now you can see I can switch very easily between DL Color 1998 and DL Pro Photo. And I'm going to say OK to that. Okay, so go ahead and make sure that you set up your color settings on every single machine that you sit down on. Okay?